Animation is one of my favorite mediums in storytelling because it's how versatile the medium is in crafting an engaging narrative. It's magical until you realize the executives and middle management are screwing over the very animators that turn frames to box office hits, from grueling conditions to being severely underpaid to the threat of generative AI. And even shelving animated shows for a tax write-off, you'd think being an animator was a Mr. Krabs sweatshop.
What kind of monster is responsible for this horror?
I wholeheartedly feel bad for these artists because you go to college to do the thing you love the most, and then you're hit with "Gotcha, bitch!" Animators are fighting back with negotiations with Hollywood industries, but it's a long road ahead. Let's dive in.
What is this thing that's been awakened?
It's death.
I love Adventure Time, regular shows, Steven Universe, The Amazing World of Gumball, Ben 10, The Powerpuff Girls. But HBO Max is giving half of these shows the boot. Just remove them off the platform. They literally were the reason why people flock to streaming services to begin with. You advertise these shows as a reason for people to sign up for it. But recently, that's been happening for the past year and a half. Warner Bros. Shelved a finished Coyote vs. Acme movie for a $10 million write-off. Are you kidding me? I was looking forward to watch that movie, but shelving it is a kick to my bells. Because once these shows movies are removed legally, there's no way of watching these movies. I mean, Five No Spaces creator Olin Rogers has a way around it. And speaking about Final Space, Olin Rogers' masterpiece was cancelled after the Warner Bros. And Discovery merger. But then they had the testicular fortitude of 1,000 blazing suns, 3 steak meters, and 10 pit bulls to remove it from HBO Max completely, leaving fans to show disappointed. Sure seems like they care a lot for their customers.
And I'll shed a crocodile tear for each and every one.
And don't get me started with Haley's on it. Removing that from Disney Plus was some bull. Worse than our childhood being river danced on for corporate America's entertainment, the animators, artists, and writers responsible for bringing these cartoons to life are underpaid and overworked. The labor practices are so egregious, they're giving MAP a run for their money. Oh, don't worry MAP, I'll be coming after you guys in a future video. Imagine finishing college with an enormous student loan debt over your head, but the only thing giving you hope in this world is the fact that you can live your dreams as an animator, not with pay and equity like this. The Animation Guild, aka TAG, which is comprised of local 838.9 of the International Theatrical Stage Employees, or the IATCE, represents thousands of animation and visual effects artists, are paid less than their WGA counterparts, aka the Writers Guild of America. Animators are paid $2,064 per week minimum versus their WGA counterparts who are paid between $4,063 to $5,185, with the advantage of bargaining for even higher pay. All that hard work for animators is not even a fair day's pay. It gets worse once you realize that animators get less residuals for TV and film than their WGA counterparts, despite creating many successful animated projects, which gross over hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. That's why TAG members like David Scher, a storyboard and writer, Rachel Cohen, a cartoonist and color designer, are conducting a new initiative called the New Deal for Animation to combat these unfair practices. There's a temporary contract between the New Deal Animation and media executives, but that expires on November 1st. That's 7 days after this recording was created. And you know animators have it bad when you know Maxwell Adams, the creator of Billy and Mandy, is selling premium merchandise at auctions to keep a roof over his head. He's selling a first edition Samurai Jack action figure and background production art with his signature to support himself. Do you know how crazy that is? How is a man like this not making money after making a hit show like Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? It's unexcusable. You can find money to pump out Joker 2 Warner Bros, but not pay Maxwell Adams.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
I'm about to lose it. And all of that isn't mentioning the harsh working conditions. In the industry, grueling hours, sometimes working 11 hours for 7 days a week or even 2 months, maybe 4 months. The most egregious examples I can find are allegedly Phil Lord micromanaging Into the Spider-Verse Part 2 and Inside Out's egregious activity. Revisions in animation happen often, but that's usually in the early stages of development and storyboarding, which is normal because that's the initial stages before starting animation. But allegedly, Lord didn't get the memo or just didn't care because after artists had to revise 3D rendered storyboards, models, and etc. after they were already approved in the final stages of development. Imagine meeting a deadline at work already approved and then your boss says, rewrite the whole report. If that is the most disruptive thing to do at the job, I don't know what is. And to compensate for this, because of all of Phil Lord's micromanaging, anonymous animators said, and I quote, Phil Lord wasn't able to conceptualize 3D animation during the early stages and the preference to edit the fully rendered work. So in other words, they had to revise the work that was already completed and approved, which made it a lot difficult because it caused them to work into overtime, working 11 hours a day, 7 days a week for over a year because Phil Lord's lack of preparation. Inside Out 2, you're not safe either. After Inside 2's production, over 175 animators were fired. That's about 14% of its staff, making them ineligible for bonuses. You made $1.6 billion and you couldn't pay additional bonuses to 174 people? If that's not corporate greed, then I don't know what is. It's not like Pixar didn't have the money because they're literally swimming in it with the film's box office success. And that's not me getting into about one person talking about they had to work 7 days straight for a week. And it gets worse when one insider says, and I quote, production workers were performing duties they weren't familiar with, which made the production of the film horrendous. So they were just playing musical chairs with people's job roles.
Is this serious?
Despite all this, though, many employees did say initially they were getting OT for working overtime on Inside Out 2.
Wretched fool, your luck plagues your every step.
If all that sounds chaotic or animators' worst nightmare, let me introduce you to its sinister younger brother, Itachi of the animators, generative AI. Generative AI is a topic of controversy for artists because you can replicate voices, art, and even assist with 3D rendering models. A program can do that with just one person clicking at the keyboard. Skynet isn't going to take over the world. Nope, it's corporate bigwigs ready to exploit generative AI to save production costs and make more money in animation, gaming, and special effects.
Welcome to hell!
If a program can make production easier, who needs these people? I believe personally AI can assist artists and special effects artists to make their workload easier, but when it can displace consolidate 240,000 jobs, 118,500 of which are in film and animation alone, is frightening. A survey conducted by IATCE, Concept Art Association, Human Artistry Campaign, and the National Cartoonist Society Foundation polled 300 executives from 6 different entertainment industries, senior managers and mid-level managers, to see their thoughts on generative AI. 2/3 of the business leaders anticipate AI to play a large role in replacing or consolidating jobs in the next 3 years between 2024 and 2026. And that's not taking into account the freelance artists or contract roles, which just make the numbers skyrocket. Gaming, you're up the chopping block too because 52,400 jobs are at risk because executives choose this mindset. That being said, the animation sector will get hit the hardest. There are already generative AI programs to assist generating 3D models in 44% of the programs, and 39% of the programs support in generating character and environment designs. 38% of generated AI will be used for 2D storyboarding and concept art. Why do this to the animators? There's nothing wrong with AI.
Stop dancing around it. Tell me what you know.
Well, inherently, just the people who use AI to steal other artists' work, as well as executives trying to use AI to phase out animators or certain job roles to make production easy and cost-effective. Using AI to assist in storyboarding and concept art can ease the workload of animators and VFX artists. It being used in that capacity is beneficial to the artists themselves. But to use it to phase out animators and these cartoonists is beyond me. All in all, we love animation as a whole, and animators that create it. But that being said, the corporate side should understand and treat these artists with respect in terms of their dedication and skill. Hopefully, TAG's new deal for animation can set new standards that help increase animators' budgets and address the harsh working conditions in these studios. But awareness is also the biggest part of this battle. These animators spent their whole lives making these popular IPs that are the most successful today. They deserve a bigger piece of the pie. Look, I understand economics and gains versus losses, but when you make movies making hundreds of millions of dollars or sometimes $1.6 billion, it's time to call cap and just start cutting a bigger paycheck for these cartoonists and animators.